we keep on seeing how Ari was an integral part of his fighting unit, wherever it was. Whether it was he was in regular duty with Golani, whether in reserve duty with the Tzanchanim, the paratroopers, whether it was in the local security unit, first responder unit together with Lior. He was integral. But we've also talked about, not only was Ari integral as a fighter, really with the gun and the whole outfit as an Israeli soldier and a proud Israeli soldier, he was also an integral part of the fight for the truth. And we're going to be going to this next video clip, which I think is really, really special, a special connection to Ari, because it's with Yishai Fleisher, the international spokesperson for Hebron. And Hebron was so important to Ari, because Hebron is one of the important places that Ari used to use to prove the horrible lies spread about Israel daily, that this is not our land, that we're an occupying force. He used to go there and show them. He used to love going to Hebron and showing them the truth. How can you say that this place that was Abraham bought in the Bible, that our ancestors are buried here, that our building is built on the bottom by King Herod, but on the top was a mosque? How can you say if we came first, we're the occupiers when they... He used to love going to Hebron. So this is a very, very special video, but you wanted to add something about it before we play it.
Yeah, so when everybody's watching this video, you should know that it's a clip between Yishai today and Ari their year plus ago. So it's a nice contrast. But there is a woman whom Ari speaks to, a French woman. Probably one of the strongest French people I know. Sorry if there's any French out there, the whole joke about it. She was strong, and she made Ari look like a kid in strength. So if anybody knows who she is, please watch this video. If you could identify her, go to arifuldsdream.com, write us a comment, let us know who she is. We have to see her. You know what, without further ado, Yishai Fleisher and Ari Fuld.
Hey everybody, Yishai Fleisher here in Hebron. This is where I work, this is where I do my thing, and today I'm so proud to be part of something in the memory of Ari Fuld, really not so much just in the memory, but to continue his work. And with regarding to Ari Fuld, he was a pal, he was a friend. We lived in the same town, we always talked about the same issues, and I only feel that I kind of missed even being a closer friend to him. And one of the things that we shared was his passion for Hebron. He loved Hebron. He would come down here all the time, and he would talk about it, and he had all the answers, and he would see the beautiful things, and he would fight with the bad guys. And there's something about Ari Fuld that was just very raw, and Hebron was very raw. So he loved this place, and he loved the ancient connection that the Jewish people have to this place. And he loved to fight. He was a great fighter. So Ari's work did not finish. He did not finish his great work. But the thing is about Ari is that the minute that he was murdered, his energy of the fight for the rights of the Jewish people in the land of Israel and the fight to learn Torah, by the way, many fights that he was involved in kept going. So today, with your permission and with my colleague and friend Gedalia, we're going to go through Hebron a little bit and remember some of the things that Ari Fuld was passionate about, and we're going to continue his fight in this great city.
Welcome, welcome everyone. Ari Fuld here from the beautiful city of Hebron. Right behind me is the Cave of the Patriarchs, the burial place of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, and Leah. And we're here in Hebron. What an amazing event I'm witnessing here. There is a full community here from the city of Netanya, Israel, who are here for a day in Hebron. And most of them are French, the French community here. Miri Regev, the minister, just spoke, and they're singing now the prayer for the soldiers. Miri Regev just finished speaking here, and the message was clear. We're in very, very good days here.
The thing about Hebron is what you see is not what you get. What you see is not what you get. If you look behind me and around the sides here, you'll see what looks like a pretty broken down place. But the truth is that behind it is 3,800 years of Jewish history. and a place that we have always been passionate about, a place that has always been important to us. And it was important to Ari as well. And he had the ability to see past the weakness, but he saw instead Jewish strength. He saw us coming back to this place that we were kicked out in 1929 by a horrific jihadist riot. And he saw, and here I'm going to get political because Ari was always political, he saw the lie of Palestine. He saw that Palestine was an effort to try to undermine our narrative and our story. And if you think about Ari, he really had two different battles that he was fighting. And that's the battles of Israel. One battle was the physical battle. So Ari was a soldier, he was also into Krav Maga, he was a fighter, and he was a shooter. Okay, but on the other hand, he also understood the narrative war. He understood that we're fighting a narrative war, and one of the things that he supported so much were Israeli soldiers. What he saw in Israeli soldiers was the rebirth of a strong Jewish nation, and he saw in Israeli soldiers a Jewish person who could pick up a gun, defend his country, defend his land, defend his rights. And he was out there both with his gun, but also with his mouth and his video camera, his phone, going live for us and telling us the real story. So that's the strength that Ari had, and he understood the two fights.
Some of these areas are being bought out by the Jewish people. Of course, right here we have two beautiful new homes of Jewish families here, which, of course, they call Beit Rachel and Beit Leah, the house of Rachel and Leah, two of the mothers of our forefathers, of course, to the wives. And, we say that Rachel Mivakel Banea, that Rachel was buried on the way. He wasn't buried in Matach Pelah, she was buried on the way in Bethlehem. And it says that, Rachel, your crying will not be in vain. V'shavu banim legvulam. That's the sentence you see right there. The nation of Israel will come back to its borders, and we're witnessing this miracle right now in our times.
One of the places that Ari was so passionate about was this place called Beit Rachel and Beit Leah, which are new acquisitions that the Jewish people made here in Hebron. This was property that was purchased from Arab residents, purchased fair and square, purchased with full money. Just like Abraham, our forefather, purchased property for full cost. And if you see the video, you could see that Ari was very excited about the purchase, but he was frustrated a year ago that it had not been moved into yet. But now we have families here living in Beit Rachel Ve'Leah. The excellent Harchivi organization has managed to do wonders and bring in people into this purchased property. And it was politics, and it was money, and it was effort. But what Ari didn't get to see was that, in fact, it did get normalized. It did happen. The thing is about Ari is that he was a fighter, and that's what magnetized him to Hebron, because Hebron is a fight. I just spoke to a soldier the other day. He's like, Hebron is the #1 fight in the country. Okay, it's an Arab city, 200,000 Arabs living here. Inside, about 85 Jewish families living inside. Next door, we have another Jewish town, which is called Kiryat Arba, with 8,500 people. Let's say altogether 10,000 Jews and 200,000 Arabs. That's approximately the strength that we have here. And so Ari knew that, but he also knew the historical connection that the Jewish people have to this place, all the way, not just all the way to the Bible, all the way to the Bible, but then from the Bible onward. And he knew that history as well. And that's why this place is so important to us, is because we've always lived here, and it really is the pillar, the anchor of our historical claim to the land of Israel. Today, it's a challenging place, but you need to have the right to fight. And the ethnic cleansers in the world, they ethnically cleanse in two ways. Either they physically kick you out of the city, or they say, oh, you're an occupier, you're a foreigner. They ethnically cleanse your history. So you have this situation in this town. And that's what magnified. That's what magnetized Ari to Hebron. Do you watch this stuff at all?
Absolutely.
We are just making a little film. Today's 1 year since his murder, and he was a big fan of Hebron.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of like trying to look around for some people who remembered or saw his films or heard of his story.
He did magnificent things. Quite a loss. He was a hero.
Yeah, he was a hero.
Left behind children and wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a martyr for us.
Say for 1 second. Do you remember Ari Fuld? Do you remember that guy who was murdered? Yeah. Ari Fuld. Today is his 1 year anniversary of his murder. Oh. And we're making a little retrospective on his life. He loved Hebron. He would come here a lot, and he fought that battle. And so we're kind of remembering the memory of a fighter for Israel, a fighter for the Bible, and a fighter for this place. That's what we're doing today here.
I remember reading about it. It was a terrible tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember it well.
Hey, Manishma. Did you know Ari Fuld? Today's 1 year since his murder. Ari's my friend. Today we're just doing a small thing to remember him and also to raise money to finish his project of the army truck, the truck for the soldiers. Tell me about it. Give me one story about him.
About him?
Yeah.
I know him for years. I mean, he's a neighbor of mine.
In Efrat.
Yeah. So I'd rather not. It's a big hole, gap in our heart.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good man, good, just man. Currently, tzaddik. There's nothing else to add. Can't add more light to it. All right.
Thanks, man. All right, you see, people, it's not easy for people to even talk about it. It's just something that's like a loss. And I looked at him, I just had a feeling. I'm like, you knew the guy. And by the way, notice everybody we're stopping knows him, remembers him, heard about him, watched his videos afterwards, beforehand. You know, his neighbors, just a guy who had an impact. Okay, we're here at Marat HaMachpelah, the tomb of the forefathers and mothers. Chevron, when you say the word Chevron, at the end, it boils down to the tomb of the forefathers and mothers. That's what it's all about. That's what the whole story starts here. And really, if you don't know, this is a tomb of the original biblical family of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah. Notice, by the way, I don't say Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah and Leah, because they were couples. There's no separation between those men and women. It's Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah. These people became a family that gave birth to a nation, our nation. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is that this is the first purchase of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. As I'm standing here right now, you may be laughing at me. You may think, Yishai, why are you barefoot on this land here? What are you doing here? I'm not barefoot. I've got my socks on, but if you're wondering whose land is this? Is it Palestinian land, Israeli land, settlers, two-state solution, Hamas? Whose land is it? It's Abraham's land.
Okay, what you're looking at behind me is the Cave of the Patriarchs. Now you see, we have over there the big rocks on the bottom, looks like the Kotel, and then up there we have the small rocks. So what happened was King Herod, when he was here in his time, he built the Cave of the Patriarchs, and he said he built it for his Jewish subjects. And it was built over to commemorate the burial place of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. And then during the Muslim conquer, they built that thing on top and built the mosque on top of the Cave of the Patriarchs. So I ask you, they built their thing on top of our thing. How did we become the occupiers? It's time to tell the truth, everyone, and it's time to expose the lies, and it's really time to take back what's ours rightfully and rightfully. Again, rightfully it belongs to us. They started the wars, they lost, and so it might also belong to us. We have a national, historic, and religious right to this place, and as Minister Regev was so clear about that when I asked her about people that saying this place is occupied, she says, now how deep you dig here, you'll never find a Palestinian Arab coin. You will always find Jewish history here on every level of archaeology, and it's time we start fighting for our truth more than they're fighting for their lies. That's what it is. And that's the only way peace is going to come.
Now, when Ari Fuld was standing on these stairs with a French lady, she said to him, you either lose it. No, you either use it or lose it. You use it or lose it. And he really liked that, right? He really liked that. You use it or lose it. All right? That's exactly the truth. If God has given us that opportunity to use it, we've got to take it up.
Hi, my name is Ari Fuld. We're live on Facebook.
Okay.
So, what's going on here?
It's a Yom Hebron for the French people. תודה רבה. כן, אני חוזרת.
French people who are living here or living in France?
Oh, theoretically living in France, but half of them really live already here.
In Aliyah, they live in Israel.
Yes.
So a lot of people will say, not me, but a lot of people will say, what are you doing? Why you come to Hebron? You know, you're inciting the Arabs. Why are you coming to Hebron? What would you say to them?
Because if you don't take your right, you lose your right.
If you don't take your right, you lose your right.
So, to come to Hebron is our right. If we don't use it, we'll lose it.
Unbelievable. If we don't use it, we lose it. We're here in Hebron by right, but as a Jewish right to Hebron.
Yes.
You live in Israel or you still in
No, I'm
not
still.
Yet. Not yet. Not yet.
When I see Avraham Avinu all green with Quran I feel very bad.
So for those of you who are wondering what she's talking about, in the Cave of the Patriarchs, you know, unfortunately the Arabs have control over certain areas, and inside the places where
It's
they
like
put
a mosque.
it looks like a mosque. And again, that's what they do. If you see the Cave of the Patriarchs itself, the lower rocks are Herod times, and Herod built the Cave of the Patriarchs for the Jews. When the Muslims took over, they built a mosque on top of it and turned the whole thing into a mosque. And what this young lady is saying is that when she goes into Ma'at Machpelah, the Cave of the Patriarchs, and it looks like a mosque, her heart breaks.
Yes.
And you know, it's a little bit our fault.
And from the first time I came here and I saw that, I decided each time I come in Israel, I come here.
Are you scared?
No, why? I'm in my home. It's my place.
Unbelievable.
And I take the bus, Eged, regular bus, from Yerushalayim to Hebron, no problem. You can come anytime, any day.
So you look like you're a very proud Zionist Jew.
I am. I am.
Okay.
I should not be.
What would you say to people watching you who say, "Oh my God, she's so dangerous. She's going to Hebron"? What's the message you should give to them?
I mean, the people who think so, they think in Paris, when you say you go to Israel, people say, "Oh, you're crazy." So when you are in Israel, you say you go to Hebron, they say, "Oh, you're crazy." No, no way. In Israel, we are very safe, and in Hebron, we are very safe.
Okay, you heard it right here. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's very simple.
it.
The nation of Israel is back in the land of Israel, Torah Yisrael, the Torah of Israel. And if we don't walk this land, and we don't come to the places that are ours, what's your name?
Evelyn.
Evelyn says it's very simple. You don't use it, you lose it. What was the first thing you said? You said something before that.
I said if you don't, this is our right. So if we don't use it, we lose it.
I'm going to use that sentence all the time. Thank you so much, Evelyn, for
Thank
your
you. Thank
words
you
of
to you.
encouragement.
I think if you listen to Ari and you think about him, really that term that he really liked and he uses throughout his videos, if you don't use it, you lose it. I think he's also talking about life in general, which is like you got to use this life and you got to see the opportunity, what it is to be alive, and the time that we're living in, which is the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel, the reconnection with our ancient traditions. And he's just all about, Ari Fuld, if anything, is about using life. It's about like maximizing, enjoying, loving, teaching, connecting, just being super, super energetic. If you don't use it, you lose it. So right now, in my ears, I hear first the Allahu Akbar of the mosque that was established here in 1267 by the Mamluks. And this mosque, they also kicked out the Jews and the Christians that were here and said, "Jews, get out." We were outside of the building for 700 years. And this mosque is still around today, and it still keeps us out of large parts of this tomb. I'm also hearing Israeli army jets flying above. And that's because Gaza is not so far away, and they're doing their stuff, their practices, their fighting, their protection, their sorties or whatever they're doing. I don't think they're bombing anything today, but they are out there practicing that. I also hear the daughters of Israel being taught the narrative of Israel at the same time. And on the other side, you may not be able to hear them, but there's a lot of boys' schools that are here today. All that is happening at the same time. And as I'm sitting here, chilling with my man Gedalia, I am also feeling so relaxed and comfortable because I'm at really mother's and father's balcony. I'm on their porch right now. I'm at grandparents' house. And really, we have to believe that these grandparents are alive. In fact, they're more alive now than they've been in the last 2,000 years. They're more alive now because their children are more alive. They're back. They're in town. And as we come back, there are more and more forces that want to slow us down and sow doubt, disbelief, fear, or alternative values. By the way, all of those are separate channels of alternative narratives. Doubt, disbelief, fear, or an alternative narrative. Don't think those are synonyms. They're not. They're all various attacks on us. You know, doubt means like we don't know if we're the right, if we have justice. Disbelief is I don't know if I even believe in the story of the Bible. Fear, I don't want to come to Hebron, I'm afraid. What was the last one? Doubt, fear, disbelief, and ambivalence. These are all channels of our confusion. Ari Fuld did not suffer from the disease of ambivalence. He had it clear in his head. And that's not, people don't like that today. People don't like people who have the capital T truth. People want somebody who's even-keeled. And I play a lot of even-keel. See both sides, be able to argue both sides. Ari Fuld knew how to argue our side. He was an advocate for our side, for our narrative, for our story, for the story of Jacob, who wanted to be buried here, for the story of Isaac, who was buried here, the story of Abraham, who purchased this property. That's what he was. So that's what gave him his strength. He was unambivalent, and in the end, in order to shut him down, it wasn't an argument. It was just plain murder. And we're here today to make sure that his murder is not final, that his voice is heard. And that's why I'm taking my time today to be here with Gedaliah and to do this special, because it's really important. Because it's really important that we let this hero have his keep living. Okay, here's Ari Fuld. He's about to ask Minister Miri Regev a question.
גם אם תחפרו פה עמוק באדמה, לא תמצאו פה מטבע אחד בין 3,000 שנה שהוא פלסטיני. כאן הארץ הזאת תמיד הייתה הארץ של העם היהודי לפני 4,000 שנה. כאן קבורים אבותינו ואימותינו, וכאן נשאר לנצח נצחים.
תודה רבה לך, מירי, תודה רבה לך. Oh boy! Unbelievable! I asked the Minister of Culture that some people say we occupied this land. What does she have to say to those people? And she looked me right in the face, and you saw that smile on her face. That was Minister Miri Regev. In the government of Israel today, 2018, I asked her, people say we occupied Hebron, what is your answer? And she said to me, no matter how deep you dig, anywhere in the country, you will not find a Palestinian coin. This is our country, this is our land. She did not hesitate, she wasn't embarrassed, she didn't stutter at all. It was very, very clear, with a smile going ear to ear, Minister of Culture here, giving a clear message to the entire world. I asked her, what an unbelievable response, beautiful response. I asked her, what would you say to those days we occupied this area? She was so clear, she said, you cannot find any proof of any culture Arab Palestinian. This is the Jewish land. It will always be the Jewish land. It always was the Jewish land. Just unreal. What an unbelievable response.
I'm into impact. And Ari Fuld was into impact. And this project that we're doing now to finish up Ari Fuld's project, we're doing a project to finish up his project. And his project was in order to give soldiers a better day, through a little bit of food, a little bit of sweets, a little bit of love. But his project was to remember his friend's project. So we're helping each other's projects. And all of that is Project Impact. And that's impact for this great project, which is God's project, which is Abraham's project, which is to go out into exile and then come back to this land and rebuild it. In this time, in this great time of lack of faith, of doubt, of cynicism, the Jewish people are coming back home to the land of Israel. That is an amazing project. At this very moment, it's a counter trend. It's counterculture to come back to this land and rebuild it in great faith, and the opposite of cynicism, right? In Hebrew, cynicism has the same letters as Zionism. So you just switch it around a little bit. I say in Hebrew, lo tziniut, tzionut, not cynicism, Zionism. So that's what Ari Fuld was really about. Zionism, by the way, I mean that in the religious term of the meaning of the term, which is like, with Torah, with a love of the spiritual depth. It's not enough to just want to be a liberal democratic country and a state for Jews, but it's Jewish and democratic. That's bogus. That's all like very fluff. It's superficial. The depth of this is that we have a Jewish identity and a Jewish state that we're going to run in our own way with our own special means, our own special knowledges, our own special laws. And Ari knew that it was able to share that with the world. So impact, education, fight, education, and impact, and continuing each other's projects. If you're born in this time, that means that God wanted you to be alive in this time, and He has empowered you to have an impact in this world. And I think I heard this from Charlie Harari, which I like very much. He said, maybe if you don't believe in yourself, believe that the coach believes in you. And if he's put you into this world, that means that he believes in you to be alive at this time. So let's rock it out there. And let's rock the memory of Ari Fuld. And nobody has to do this at the end of the program and say, yeah, it was a shame. Like, yeah, it was a shame. It was a shame that they murdered Ari Fuld. But like, that is not the end goal of our story here today, which is to go, yeah, what a shame. No, that's not what we're about. We are about continuous victory and continuing the incredible impact that Ari had, we could do it. With more videos, more education, more coming here, more economic development, more businesses, more Torah, more love, more building, more synagogues, more Sefer Torahs, more trucks for Chayalim. And that's the root of the word bracha in Arabic, barakah, right? Bracha means blessing. Blessing means more of. More of. You should have more of that. You got money? More money. You got love of your children and family? More of that. You got the land of Israel? Even more of that. You got Jews in the land of Israel? More of that. And you got some Torah in your head? Get some more of that. And I think that is the legacy, and we are going to be part of it. We're all about impact. That's it. We're about impact. If there's one word for today, it's Ari Fuld, impact, you. Those are 4 words. Ari Fuld will continue to have strength. His name will continue to mean something, and it certainly means something in Hebron. Everybody that we've asked here, it's like, of course, Ari Fuld, that's a hero in Israel. And I'm only so thankful to God that in his final appearance in video, that he was able to show his heroism. That was the thing that struck me. Yes, Ari Fuld, you were murdered, but in your last second, in your last video, you still managed to be a hero, maybe a greater hero than ever before. And everybody saw the full might of your heroic nature. And I'm thankful to God for revealing that, for revealing your true, who you really were. And one of your passions, Ari, was Hebron, and your work only augmented. I was only thankful that you were around. Whenever you would talk to me, I said to you, yeah, come on down more, make more battles with the bad guys, show more people, because you were just a true force for good. And your heroism and your heroism in Torah, those twin characteristics was what motivated you, and you inspire us to this day.